Did you know that you can combine a African safari with a river cruise? Join me today as we explore the stars of Africa with AmaWaterways. Joining me today are Barb Chamberlain, real travel expert and virtuoso travel advisor with Direct Travel Vacations, and Neil Dudley, business development manager for AmaWaterways. Barb has more than 30 years experience in travel, and Neil has been with AmaWaterways since 2017. Hi, folks. Welcome back to RTE Travel Talk.
Hi, Ken. How are you?
Hi there, my name is Neil with AmaWaterways.
It's wonderful to have the both of you with us today. One of the ultimate vacation requests that seems to be on everybody's bucket list is an African safari. Now, I know there are many options open to adventurers looking for an African safari experience, but I happen to think that one of the most unique products in the market today is that offered by AmaWaterways, combining a river cruise on the Chobe River with an African safari. Now, Barb, I also understand that you have blocked a group for 2026 for their actual flagship itinerary, the Stars of Africa. So I thought today we could pick the brain of our resident expert, Neil from AmaWaterways. And if I understand correctly, Neil actually lived in Africa for some time. How does that sound?
It sounds great, Ken, and I'm so excited about this departure. It's such a wonderful, wonderful trip. So let's talk about it.
Perfect. Let's dive right in. Neil, why don't you give us kind of like a 30,000 foot level look at the Stars of Africa itinerary and what we can expect?
Sure thing. So, absolutely love this product. And as you mentioned, yes, I have a bit of a passion for Africa, having lived there for a while. So, obviously, we are known for luxury river cruising experiences. So, we want to combine that kind of an experience over into an African experience. We call it our wildlife and safari river cruise. And basically, the core product is based around the Chobe River and, of course, Victoria Falls. And what I love is that the unique part of this area is that the Chobe River is the only watering hole between Namibia and Botswana, meaning all of these animals really are focused around the river each and every day, coming down there to bathe, to feed, and all that stuff. So it really puts the guests in the absolute best position possible to always see all of the wildlife that is in the area. It's the only river cruise we have that doesn't actually have a set itinerary. The captain's sole responsibility is to follow the wildlife each and every day, so that basically every morning when guests are waking up on the beautiful and very intimate Zambezi Queen, because there's only 28 guests on board,
Wow.
they're all going to be dining with the local wildlife that is in the area on the river that day. It also allows the captain to really go and launch our smaller safaris that go off of the Zambezi Queen, whether it's a boat safari into the marshy areas where, of course, the hippos and the crocodiles are, or whether it's onto the land safaris, as opposed to doing a land rover tour, a land safari where they're running around trying to find the animals. The captain knows where they are every morning, so that we basically stop, launch our safaris right in the middle of all the wildlife. So again, it guarantees guests right up front to get those stunning wildlife experiences. So that's kind of the core product for the 7 days. And then what we've done is we've built other extensions in and around it. So we've got a few different itineraries. As you mentioned, that is our flagship one, the Stars of South Africa. It's definitely the most popular one because it's really pulling in some unique parts of South Africa. Cape Town is a spectacular city. It's very cosmopolitan, known for their incredible wines, their landscapes, of course, and some great history. So we do 3 nights, 5-star, centrally located hotels with beautiful tours and such into that area. Johannesburg, you can't really go to South Africa without having a stay into Johannesburg, along with Soweto. But with the Stars, we give guests a second opportunity to see wildlife again by taking them over to Kruger National Park for a 4-day, 3-night stay. They get 8 different safaris included in that package, and it really ensures that guests are not going to go on this trip of a lifetime and not get all of the things that they want realized with this beautiful experience. We've just launched 2026, and the reason we had to launch it was with only 28 guests on board. This fills extremely quickly, generally a year and a half in advance. Barb was savvy and smart enough to take out a beautiful group experience for April of 2026, in addition to this incredible program that all of her guests get a chance to travel together.
Wonderful. So, Neil, how long has AmaWaterways been in Africa?
It was almost 12 years ago that we started doing the Africa program. Our owners kind of went to the area, experienced the Zambezi Queen, fell in love, and created a long-term partnership with this beautiful company. So it is exclusive to us because we basically are the ones out there promoting that beautiful river cruise experience in North America. So
fantastic.
Neil, what other parts of Africa does AMA go to?
On the African program, as far as the safaris go, of course, we've got East Africa. So What I love about this is that if guests have done South Africa, because a lot of our guests might have done Johannesburg and Cape Town in the past, not had a chance to do the Chobe or the Victoria Falls, we offer an East African extension. And just brand new, about 4 years ago, we actually offered an extension on our Africa programs to go up to Rwanda to see the gorillas and the silverback monkeys and such in the area. Beautiful, unique experience. Very limited, of course, to 8 to 10 guests only on that extension. It can be added to any of our African products. And then, of course, up in the north, just a few years ago, we started on to the Nile River in Egypt as well. So
the April 2026 departure that I have, we are offering the Rwanda extension. I think it's amazing. It's interesting. I've got people who've done this, and the reason why I block space is because everybody comes back so happy and they're so elated, and they just keep talking about it even 2 years later. And my one client said to me, Barb, my biggest regret that I didn't do the extension to Rwanda.
yeah.
So the Stars of Africa, Neil, how long is the itinerary in total?
It's a 14-night itinerary.
Okay.
So they'll do 6 nights between the Chobe and Victoria Falls, with 3 nights in Cape Town, a couple nights in Johannesburg, and another 3 nights over into Kruger National Park. So,
And Ken, in Victoria Falls, one day we take the train across the bridge, and the train actually stops right in the middle while we have lunch, right over the falls. I mean, how cool is that? It's just so cool.
Now, that's something you're going to remember.
Exactly.
Now, a lot of questions that we get about an African safari is about the big 5. Can we expect to see the big 5 animals, and just exactly what is the big 5?
most definitely. I mean, obviously, the big 5 are the Cape buffalo, the elephant, the rhino, the leopards, and the lions. So those are your big 5. All of them are in that area. 99% chance that you're going to see the big 5. We can never 100% guarantee, but the nicest thing is that because of the situation with the Chobe and all of the animals being focused around the Chobe River, they're all there. Predatorial ones like the lions and the leopards are always on the hunt, and they know that all the other ones are going to be there. The nice thing is that with the Stars of South Africa, you then have the Kruger National Park experience,
Exactly.
where you've got, again, another 7 to 8 game drives going through the area where, again, all of the big 5 are. So to be honest, I don't think I've ever heard of any of our guests coming back and not seeing the big 5. So that is kind of what makes the experience unique. This is probably a trip that guests are going to do once in a lifetime, and you really want to make sure that all of their dreams are fulfilled. So
Exactly. For most people, this is going to be a one and done.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Neil, I know that the accommodation is lovely in all of your tours. Can you just highlight some of them for us?
We are utilizing 5-star properties throughout our journey. So of course, in Johannesburg, we're using the Fairlawn Boutique Hotel. If anybody is kind of thinking, well, that sounds familiar, that's because that's where all the royalty stays. Royal family from the United Kingdom, they always stay when they go down to South Africa. Same thing with Cape Town. It's the Cape Grace Hotel. And of course, up into Victoria Falls, the Victoria Falls Hotel. These hotels are decades old. And it really kind of goes with that majestic nature of the African product to really make sure that they're getting that 5-star experience both on the ship and off the ship. So,
Am I mistaken? Is there a bird sanctuary is it Victoria Falls? The hotel there?
So there's always wildlife experiences no matter where you are, of course. On the Chobe River, we give clients an opportunity to either go fishing or do a bird watching tour. And yes, even at the Victoria Falls Hotel, they also have a little warthog sanctuary at the Victoria Falls Hotel. So again, quite unique. You get the experience no matter where you are in the African program. So
When you're in Kruger, are you staying in a safari lodge?
keeping with that 5-star nature, we're staying in the top-rated lodge in all of Kruger. It's called the Tin Swallow Safari Lodge. We're thrilled to be partnered with them. And it is a smaller lodge. There's only about, I think, 10 to 12 rooms. So if our full guest capacity on the Zambezi Queen all wants to do that, they can't, unfortunately, because it's even smaller than the capacity on the Zambezi Queen of only 28 guests.
So what about the accommodations on board the ship itself, Neil?
So they are beautiful on board. They all are balcony suites. Like I said, we only have 14 cabins on board. 2 different levels. You've got your queen suites, which have the balconies on the side. And then the master suites are the kind of ones at the back of the ship, which have wraparound balconies. So you get balconies on the back side and at the side views. Stunning, spacious accommodations, ceiling to floor windows with the balconies and such. So, because you're always within sight of land on the river, you're always able to see wildlife, day and night.
Fantastic. Is the ship air conditioned, Neil?
The ship is in certain areas of the lounge and such like that. Obviously, ceiling to floor windows. But yes, the ship is certainly air conditioned for all the general areas, the rooms and such like that as well. I will say probably the majority of the people are sitting on the top deck. You've got a little plunge pool up there, so you can sit and relax there as well. Most of the guests are taking full advantage of those beautiful 360 views on the top deck. So,
Absolutely.
And what about the weather? What kind of weather and temperatures could we expect on this? I suppose it depends on the time of year.
It does. I mean, Africa obviously is much warmer climate than us, but remember, they don't really have humidity and such. So you're probably looking at temperatures in the high 20s, low 30s for Celsius. You know, depending where you're watching from, it could be like high 80s, low 90s for Fahrenheit, of course. But because of the setup and the nature of everything, it's the heat over there. Yes, it's warm, but when they get to those temperatures, doesn't seem like it's as hot there as it is when we have it over here in North America. But we just generally operate our tours from March through till December. We tend to avoid January and February, which is kind of a peak season for their heat and stuff. So.
Oh, perfect. And Barb, your particular departure is going in April.
It is, and I believe it's around the beginning of the migration season, Neil.
The Great Migration is basically referencing, it's focused on the wildebeest and the zebras. And basically every spring and every fall, they do a mass migration north and a mass migration south. And it's just millions and millions of animals on the prowl. And then the migration season tends to be a very popular time for guests to go there because you get that additional bonus of all of this wildlife movement up and down the plains.
So Barb, I'm sure you get a lot of requests for safari with your clients. What made you decide to choose AmaWaterways?
Customer satisfaction. It's what it's all about. It's just that I've had clients do other safaris. I've had clients do the AMA safari, and I do find that my clients that come back from AMA are just so much more excited, just so much happier. I mean, I'm not saying that African safaris on land are not good.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some really, really good ones, and there's some that aren't so good. There's just so many people around trying to vie for the same view. And so you got to be smart about it because you're spending a lot of money. I mean, this is a bucket list trip. So I just decided to go with the best.
Exactly, because like you said, for most people, this is going to be a one and done. So it really pays to have the advice of an expert travel advisor in your corner when you're looking to do something like this, I would expect.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What about the pre and post extensions options? What's available?
Well, basically, with our itineraries, we've built those in, like with the Cape Town and with the Johannesburg.
Okay.
Those are kind of your pre and post extensions because we're flying in and out of South Africa. The nice thing is with AmaWaterways, we make sure that it's not a disjointed experience. So the minute guests arrive into Cape Town, our cruise manager, our tour director is with them for the entire duration, both on land and on the river cruise and Victoria Falls. So they'll meet them in Cape Town. That same person flies them up to do the Zambezi Queen and Victoria Falls, Kruger, all the way through. It's continuity. We don't want different guides in different areas because it really kind of takes away from that personalized experience overall. And a beautiful continual experience from beginning to end, family experience. You know that you're with the trusted company the entire way through. So that's the way we operate all of our products around our river cruises with the pre and posts. So,
and even with the Rwanda extension, AmaWaterways, a person goes with you.
So let's talk about the Rwanda extension. What is that exactly?
Obviously, it's the home to the gorillas. It's the only gorilla sanctuary in the world, and it's just spectacular. They only allow, it's basically one expedition a day in to go see the gorillas. It's a walking experience. It's not, you need to obviously be a bit more fit because you are hiking up into the terrain where the gorillas are. You're staying at, again, beautiful 5-star lodge for the stays while you're out into the Rwanda area and such. And you get to really go up, interact with the gorillas, and it's something that you'll never get a chance to do again. Limited numbers, obviously, because again, it's all about respecting the gorillas and the wildlife that are in the area, so they don't take big groups. Our owners, Rudy and Christine, went to kind of experience it and see if it would be a great fit for our product. They just absolutely fell in love with the experience, said, yes, we need to bring it to our guests because everything we do, we want to make sure that it's something that leaves a lasting impression, and this experience certainly does.
So the big thing is because it's limited, means that if you're interested in that, you want to get on that almost right away.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is one of those things where obviously you've got to book this a lot earlier. Our regular river cruises in Europe, generally 6 months in advance, but Africa, a year and a half. And if you want Rwanda, definitely.
Like my clients that have done this, they just could not believe at how close they got. And I have to note here that, ladies and gentlemen, you have to leave your cologne and your perfume at home. You cannot wear it when you're close to the gorillas.
There's actually nothing artificial allowed. So no makeup, no jewelry, glasses. If it's mandatory, they've got rules behind it and such.
It's just down to the basics, everybody.
It sounds like a fantastic option for people. So
Yeah.
Neil, the Stars of Africa is a 14-day
Yes.
itinerary. I know looking at your website that you actually have shorter itineraries. Am I understanding this correctly that folks that are maybe doing the 14 days on the Stars of Africa may be together with other folks that may be doing like a 7-day or 10-day? You kind of
Yeah.
run them all
So
consecutive.
we do. So the core product is, yeah, the core product is definitely the 7 days on the Chobe and Victoria Falls. And then you can add pre and post. So it's different extensions in and
Right,
around. So the same core group of people will always be on that one experience. But you could have people who start in Cape Town,
right,
go up to the Zambezi Queen, and instead of going to Kruger, they're going back to Johannesburg and flying home because maybe they just don't have enough time to do
right.
that. You could have other people who, instead of going down to Kruger National Park, are then going up to East Africa and doing our Tanzanian experience and such up there. So, but yes, it'll be different combinations on the pre and post depending on what, and I guess basically the amount of time that people had to travel to Africa.
So
So,
basically, then, Barb, if you've got folks that are interested and they can't do 14 days, there's other options for them.
Absolutely.
Oh, fantastic.
the shortest one is about a 10-night journey where they start in Cape Town, do Zambezi Queen, Victoria Falls, and then basically be transferred back to Johannesburg for a flight straight out. That would be the shortest combination. Or they could add on the Rovos Rail experience, for instance. They want to do that stunning experience and go down. So,
And I mean, I am promoting this special departure in April of 2026. However, if you want to go on a different day, even 2027, we can put your name down on a wait list sort of thing when the space opens. You can go anytime.
Exactly, because not everybody can shoehorn
No.
into that particular departure.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are the dates exactly, Barb, for your departure?
It's April the 24th
Right.
to May the 8th of 2026.
And now, what's included with all that?
with Africa, we pretty much do include everything. So, for the Cape Town experience, obviously, you've got your 5-star stay at the hotel. All of your tours are included, daily breakfast and lunch. And what I love is, instead of taking the easy option out and doing lunch at a hotel, Todd said, no, I want everybody to make sure they're getting that full, authentic African experience. So when we're in Cape Town, we actually do lunch at local restaurants to really get a chance to experience the locals, the cuisine and such in the area. That is the same in Johannesburg. When you're in Victoria Falls on the Zambezi Queen and Kruger National Park, everything is included. All of your meals, all of your drinks at any time. So it's an all-inclusive experience. The only things that guests would, like I said, have on their own are just the dinners in Cape Town and Johannesburg. Although in Johannesburg, we've got a special hosted dinner. So it's just 1 or 2 dinners. And we've left it that way because Cape Town is such a cosmopolitan city, world-renowned cuisine and such amazing restaurants, all within walking distance of the hotel. And of course, our cruise manager there is to guide them through, to say, hey, you want to check this one out? Great. But pretty much everything else is included. So,
And one of the other points I want to make out that I think is really, really interesting is that when you're in Cape Town, one of your options of a tour is to going to Robben Island. And the guide that Emma uses was the guard when Nelson Mandela was there. I mean, talk about history and just everything. It's amazing.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. When it comes to demographics, who is this trip best suited for?
it's geared at everybody in the sense that, an African safari is something that everybody can certainly
Yeah.
do. I mean, when I was lucky enough to live in East Africa, I was only 13 years old. It was a spectacular experience. Now, with the African program, just due to legality reasons and such, anybody under 12 can't participate in the African experience. But I literally just had an advisor get in touch with me whose grandparents are bringing their kids and bringing their grandkids. And all the kids are teenagers. They felt they're going to really appreciate the wonders of Africa and such. So it's a multi-generational travel trip that Africans can do. Usually with our exotic programs, our age demographics are much wider range. A lot of times people want to take these trips of a lifetime with their family. So you're able to do that. Now the ships, obviously they're smaller. They can only have 2 people. So there's no child discounts per se, but again, it really is open to multi-generational travelers for sure. So
There's no triple or quad cabins on the ship.
no.
It's just 2 in a cabin. But as Neil said, a lot of families are traveling together.
And it's such a wonderful thing to be able to expose the kids, the grandkids to that. So if you have the affordability, because basically you're going to have to get them, if it's you and your wife going, you're going to have to get them their own separate accommodations based on the way the ship is built. What about if I'm considering this adventure? Any travel packing tips? Is there a limitation to the amount of luggage I can take, or how does that work?
You pack what the airline allows you to pack, which is generally one check bag and a carry-on. You're totally fine with that on an African trip with us too. So,
Oh, okay. So you don't really have intercountry flights then that would require people to be even more restricted. Am I right about that?
we do have smaller planes that we are taking on the intra-air flights,
Mhm.
but you can still take the same requirements as you would on an international flight
Okay.
over on to those areas as well. Sometimes there's weight restrictions and such like that. So again, we just advise saying, listen, try to be smart about your packing. Don't necessarily take the big, massive size, large suitcase. And there's really no need for it when you're on to the African journeys because you don't really need to bring a lot of the extra stuff. So honestly, most people are able to bring those mid-sized check bags with the carry-on and they're totally fine.
So best advice is travel light if you can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I say that always, but
Yeah. Me too.
And my husband says I don't know how, but
Well, we went carry on to Egypt.
I did the same. I did 2 weeks to Egypt. I did carry on as well. It's linens, vacuum seal bags, bam, you are all set to go. So
What about special visas or vaccinations, Barb? What do we need for those?
Americans and Canadians do not need a actual visa to get into Africa. There is an entry little visa that you can get online before you go. I think you have to do it within 90 days or that. But I can go over all of that, and I know that Amma also would probably have suggestions. And as far as vaccinations and items like that, I'm not a doctor. I always tell my clients that there are travel clinics and your own family doctor. You take your itinerary to them, and they will tell you based on you what you should do and not you don't have to do. So I really suggest that. I suggest that they do that no matter where they travel.
Well, that sounds like great advice to me. First of all, you're gonna make a big investment here. A call to your doctor to say, "Hey, look, I want to go. This is where I want to go. What do I need to know?" Sounds like great advice.
And that's one more other thing I want to mention is that you pay your deposit and your deposit is non-refundable. And, you can take out insurance just for the deposit at that time. And then we can always upgrade it at final payment time. If you want to, you can pay installments between your deposit and your final payment. And should you have to cancel for any reason, those installments are fully refundable back to you. So it's entirely up to you. You can pay your deposit, your final payment, or if it's easier for you, you can do installments knowing that money is refundable.
I would assume that money is refundable up to a certain point, right?
Up until your final payment date.
Okay, exactly. Wow. Well, this truly sounds like the trip of a lifetime. Is there anything else either one of you might like to add before we wrap up?
I would just like to tell everybody that we do have a savings. It's a 5% savings off the whole package as long as you deposit before June 30th, 2024. Now, that 5% savings does not include Rwanda. It's a great savings. You deposit before the June 30th, 2024, and you receive that 5% savings.
Fantastic. Well, Barb, if folks wanted to find out more information about this particular safari or another river cruise with AmaWaterways, how would they do that?
They can reach me at 519-670-4448, or my email is B for Barbara, Chamberlain, CHAMBERLAIN at DT, like David Tango, which stands for directtravel.com.
Super. I will leave those links in the description, but just before we get out of here, I have to know what's next on the travel to-do list for the both of you. Where are you guys off to next?
And in October, I am hosting for Virtuoso Voyages, a seaborne cruise from Barcelona to Rome for 10 days. And a stopping in Malta in 2 different ports. So I'm really excited about that because I haven't been to Malta.
Fantastic. And Neil, where in the world are we going to find you?
It's an absolute horrible part of my job working for a river cruise line. They make me go on a few river cruises each and every year. I don't know how I deal with it, but yeah, I'm hosting groups in October and November over on the Danube, the Rhine, Main, and Moselle rivers. So looking forward to that. The one in November is also the Christmas markets, which is one of my absolute favorite European river cruise experiences. So, like I said, somebody has to do the job, so I guess it'll have to be me. So
It's tough, Neil.
Gotta love those Christmas markets. They're
yeah,
magical.
exactly.
Well, Barb, that sounds fantastic. We'll have to have you back to regale us with some of your further adventures out there. How's that sound?
It sounds great.
And Neil, all the best to you. Here's a wish for both of you for safe and happy travels on all your future trips, adventures, and vacations. May the wind always be at your back, and I hope to see the two of you on the sun deck of the Zambezi Queen sometime in the future.
That would be great.
Yes, I'd be like that.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Ken.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks, Neil.
And that about wraps it up for today, folks. A very special thanks to my guests, Barb Chamberlain of Direct Travel Vacations and Neil Dudley of AmaWaterways. If you'd like to reach out to Barb about this particular African safari or perhaps another river cruise, I'll leave her contact information in the description. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can send a question to questions@realtravelexperts.com, visit our website, realtravelexperts.com, or simply leave a comment. We always respond. And as always, folks, if you enjoyed this content, a like, subscribe, share, and a ring of the bell is certainly appreciated and helps us to spread the word. So until next time, happy travels!